You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm back today in the kitchen, but instead of making a meal like usual, I'm gonna be making a dessert. Although it's not the easiest dessert to make, it is my favorite dessert to make, and I really wanted to share it with you guys. Today, I'll be making matcha macarons, my favorite flavor of macarons, other than chocolate macarons, obviously. Not macaroons, not the coconut macaroons, the French Macaron cookie, the small round cookies that are crunchy on the outside but soft and chewy on the inside. Now, on to the ingredients. Now, for our ingredients, I already pre-measured these ingredients, and since macaron is a very precise recipe, I suggest using a scale like I did. But if you don't have a scale, you could always just use the measuring cups and such. Anyways, so my ingredients, using my scale, I have 70 grams of egg whites, so about 2 eggs. I have 70 grams of granulated sugar. I have 84 grams of powdered sugar, 87 grams of almond flour or almond powder, and 5 grams of matcha powder. And cream of tartar, about half a teaspoon to help your egg whites whip up. And then after I show you how to make the macaron, the sandwich cookies, I will show you how to make the filling of the macaron, which is the matcha buttercream. Okay, so right now we're gonna focus on our dry ingredients, which is the almond flour, the powdered sugar, and the matcha powder. I'm gonna mix these ingredients together in this metal bowl and sift it through this sifter at the same time to get all the chunks out. Because you want your dry ingredients that you're gonna mix with your egg whites later to be really fine, which is what makes the macarons so delicate and beautiful and delicious. If you find little chunky parts, just break them apart with your hands. So now what we need to do so it's even finer is we need to grind it in this little grinder that I have. So I'm gonna grind this for a good few seconds until it's nicely fine, and then I'm gonna sift it again and then grind it again. So I'm gonna repeat the process one more time and then sift it for one last time. Now you're gonna think I'm crazy for doing all this, for going through all this trouble, grinding, sifting, but trust me when I say, when you do that, it makes your dry ingredients so much more finer and so much more better that when you mix it in with your egg white, your macarons will turn out much better. They'll be smooth, silky. Yeah. Now I'm gonna sift it again. Now I'm going to grind it for the last time before sifting it again. So I'm going to sift it now for the very last time. That's 3 sifts and 2 grinds. And there you have it. Nice, fine, perfectly fine almond flour and basically your dry ingredients. Now I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to start with the wet ingredients, or the egg whites. So now I have my KitchenAid mixer, my handy dandy KitchenAid mixer, and I'm going to put in my egg whites and a touch of cream of tartar so they whip up nicely. I'm going to start whipping up the egg whites now. Sugar now, but not all at once, a little at a
time. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday through.
Okay, so by now it has reached stiff peaks, and I'll show you what that looks like. Also, when it's at stiff peaks, most of the meringue will gather on your whisk. But yeah, that is, oops, stiff peaks. Beautiful. I want to eat it, but I can't. Another way to check if you have stiff peaks is to take your bowl and turn it over on top of your head, and if the meringue doesn't fall, you have stiff peaks. Now I'm going to take my dry ingredients and my wet ingredients and combine them. But I'm gonna combine the dry ingredients a little at a time, so I'll do about half. Remember when you're mixing it, remember to fold it, not to just mix it in, because you need to make sure that you maintain some of those air bubbles that you whipped into your egg whites, but you also don't want to keep all of them. You want some of them. So I usually scrape the outside and then fold and then press in. Scrape, fold, scrape, fold. Now I'm gonna add in the rest. Sorry, my bad. And now we fold. So this process of folding in the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients is called the macaronage. Usually this is where most people have trouble, because they either undermix it and it's not, it has too many air bubbles, or it's not like silky enough, or they overmix it and it's too liquidy and watery and then it doesn't hold. But I'll show you a test you can use to see if you have mixed it well enough. It's called the figure 8 test. Now I think it's about done. I'm gonna show you the figure 8 test. You take a little bit of the batter, as it drips down, you try to form the figure 8. Okay, so it's a little bit choppy. So I guess I can fold it a little bit more. Okay, now you form the figure 8. Voila, it is complete. Now I can pipe it. So I'm gonna pipe my macarons out now onto my baking sheet with parchment paper. Usually if you watch like the professionals do it, they just straight up pipe it on. But I like to use these templates because they help me keep my cookies in equal circles and equal spacing so they don't touch each other. Usually you can use a piping bag that you can buy from the store that's reusable. You can just wash it and then store it again. But I don't have one of those, so I just use Ziploc bags, but I am planning on buying one of those. But I do have these piping tips though, which is what I use to pipe it evenly. So I'll take my Ziploc bag, or whatever piping bag you have, put it in the cup so you can stabilize it, or you can hold it in your hand. Either one works. And then from there, I'm gonna add my batter. I'm not gonna add all of my batter though, because it won't fit like all at once, so I'll do a little bit at a time. Also make sure to push it so it goes all the way down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna start piping. You wanna pipe upright and evenly so that your batter comes out even. I like to stop a little before the edge of the line because the batter still expands a little bit when it bakes. I finished piping them out, and now I'm taking out the templates because I don't want to bake the templates. And then, now that they're done, I have to, should I say, slam it onto the table to get rid of some excess air bubbles. And then if I want want to, I can go in with a toothpick and, you know, get rid of the other air bubbles. Now I'm gonna let this sit for, I don't have a specific amount of time, but how you know that you're done letting it sit is when you touch it, it shouldn't stick to your fingers anymore, which means it's built a layer of skin, which keeps the air in. I'm gonna preheat my oven now to 305 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, you guys, so I've come back to check on it, and now look, when I tap it, it makes a little indent, but it's not sticking to my fingers, which means it's ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna put them in the oven now for about 12 to 14 minutes. And they're done, you guys. There's a few wonky looking ones, but most of it looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna let these cool, so I'm gonna set them off a little bit to the side to let them cool. And while we do that, I'm gonna start making my buttercream. Okay, so for the buttercream frosting, I'm making a French buttercream frosting, so I'm gonna heat up some water and some sugar to make a syrup and then mix it with the egg yolks and the butter and so forth. So right now I have a 1/4 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of water to it. And I'm gonna let that heat up, medium heat. While we wait for that to, we don't want to caramelize it, we just want it to be a syrup. So to test to make sure that it's done, I'm going to take a little bit of this syrup and put it into water. If it forms a soft ball of crystally sugar, then it's good. We'll whip the egg yolks with the butter. Supposed to be softened butter. I over softened my butter. I'm gonna mix that together. Now I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Now I'm gonna add my syrup.
Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, so now I have my filling.
Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday through Thursday and Friday and Saturday too.
Okay, so we have our macaron. Now I'm gonna taste test. So good. It's crispy on the outside, it's soft and chewy on the inside, and that creaminess of the buttercream, wonderful.
You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane.
Okay, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe by clicking that subscribe button down below. Also, we'll have our playlist here of all our other videos if you're interested in watching those. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!